Wow, happy holidays, and it's been a wonderful journey 2023. You've dared with us across the world, literally speaking, and this is the episode that closes the year. Today we feature a former Kenyan teacher from Meru who defied all odds to become a major in the US Army. Her name is Reverend Dr. Mary Miriti. But first, here are the highlights of the show.
She is a major in the U.S. Army and an ordained minister.
We are trained the same way. The only thing that chaplains don't do is to hold the gun.
Yes, this festive season, Reverend Dr. Mary Miriti gears up to share her experience in the front lines as an army chaplain and founder of a Dallas-based African immigrant church.
They came in Africa to give us the religion, and now we are back here to minister to the people in the United States.
This as the Kalenjin community in Kansas City unite to promote their heritage abroad.
We're going to have libraries in here, we're going to have books, we're going to have artifacts that reflect where we come from and who we are.
Great. We begin in Dallas with the story of Reverend Dr. Mary Miriti.
Reverend Dr. Mary Miriti is a lady on a mission, literally speaking.
My name is Chaplain Miriti. I'm from 107 Chaplain Deck.
You see, Mary happens to be a major in the U.S. Army and a full-time minister with the United Methodist Church based in Dallas.
I'm a church planter. I have started an African Immigrant United Methodist congregation, and we worship here at Ridgewood United Methodist Church. Our church is called Oasis Global Mission Church. We are like missionaries in abroad. You remember they came in Africa to give us the religion, and now we are back here to minister to the people in the United States. When I came here and when I was in the seminary, Southern Methodist University is called Parking School of Theology, and it trained Methodist ministers. And one time a chaplain came looking to recruit chaplains and said it's only 2 days that you can serve per month. And I thought that is an easy thing to do. And I was passionate because one thing I wanted to honor one of the ministers in the church that I was going that time who died in the board meeting. He was ministering to the people that were involved in Second World War. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I said, I can join because this guy suffered and died trying to help the people that were suffering who had gone through the Second World War. I can join also to serve as a chaplain to be able to honor him. And so that's the way I entered in the military, and I was commissioned in 2011 as a first lieutenant, as a chaplain. And I went for the training. I was promoted to be a captain 2015. And in 2021, while deployed on downrange in Iraq, I was promoted to be a major.
Yes, Major Mary is a soldier in every sense of the word. She has even undergone serious battlefield training.
I did at the middle of it for 3 months. I was like, if I knew this, I wouldn't have done it. But I didn't. I thought because I'm a chaplain, things are done differently. But as long as soldier, you are a soldier. We are trained the same way. The only thing that chaplains don't do is to hold the gun. So what happened is that you are given somebody who is called chaplain assistant, who acts as your bodyguard. So wherever you go, you have to go with the chaplain assistant with this weapon, so that if anything, he is the one to shoot, not you.
Now, it may come as a surprise that at the time of enlisting, Major Mary was 48 years old. Yes, 48 years of age and still active in the field in one of the world's most demanding occupations.
It was tough, but I went in it. Even now, I do physical. I run. Yeah. I left.
Uh-huh.
Just 2 weeks ago, I passed my PT test, and I made 503 over 600 points.
Test, is it
It's a physical fitness exam, where you go, you have to run, you have to lift the weights, you have to do push-ups, you have to do sit-ups.
Okay, so we've understood Mary's motivation for joining the army. We've even gotten a picture of the entry requirements she had to pass for her to serve. But what we are yet to understand is her role in the army.
As a chaplain in the army, I preach to the soldiers. Soldiers are my congregation. I counsel them on a daily basis. When I'm among them, I help them, those who are going through some stress, who are depressed. We get people who are depressed because of war and because of the trauma they have gone through. And so I have to deal with those soldiers. If it gets worse, then we can advise them to go to the doctor's place.
Since enlisting, Mary has been able to tour with various army units all across the globe, providing them with much-needed mental, emotional, and spiritual support. But even as she does this, she still finds time to serve at her church, Oasis Global Mission.
Oasis is an African immigrant congregation, mostly Kenyans. And this one is a vision that came to me from 2005. When I came to America, I was a preacher in Kenya with the Methodist Church. We call them local preachers. And when I came to America, I realized it's difficult to preach. You can't preach because here in the Methodist Church, you have to be an ordained clergy before you get a pulpit. And so that way I was able to ask what is the procedure. And the church we work on, Lovers Lane, United Methodist Church, they were able to guide me, the ministers was able to guide me, and I did what we call candidacy process, which took me 10 years. And I went through that and I trained, I was given a mentor who guided me to be able to become a full-time minister. And in 2011, I was ordained. In 2010, I was commissioned first. And when you're commissioned in Methodist Church now, you can bear the name Reverend. That's where they start. And then in 2011, I was able to graduate from seminary here at Southern Methodist University, Parking School of Theology. And when I graduated in 2011, I was given my first appointment as an associate minister in a Caucasian church. We say Caucasian is a white, but Caucasian is a polite word to use. So I was appointed as an associate in a Caucasian church called Grace, in Dallas, called Grace United Methodist Church. And so while I was there, still my vision of having gone through a lot here and having faced a lot of racism and having faced a lot of ups and downs, sometimes people will tell you on the face that they can't understand you because of your accent. And there's a lot of challenges that sometimes we go through and they continue to shape you in one way or the other. And having gone that, I think I need to take a stand and have a congregation where I can be able to help others when they come. And so my agenda was to start a congregation where when immigrants comes in Dallas-Fort Worth area, that I connect with, I can be able to help them to assimilate to American culture without being intimidated. And with somebody who has gone through it, we say experience is the best teacher.
Through her ministry, Mary has been able to help countless of immigrants. This is of course through the assistance of her very able team of like-minded ministers.
I have some pastors that help me, and we have somebody like Stephen Kamau that the board has made him to be an assistant to me because we started with them, this congregation. I have a minister from Methodist Church in Kenya who is schooling at SMU, Parking School of Theology. Reverend Mutembei is helping as an associate also. We have another pastor from Kenya too who is doing his PhD here called Pastor Alfred Nyamwewa. And he is our children ministry pastor. And we have Pastor Jonathan. He is from Congo. and he is helping with youth and the young adult. With them in place, things are running smoother than when I was handling by myself.
Wow, talk about service. Mary is clearly dedicated to leaving a mark, attacking everything she sets her mind to with military precision. But the mother of three was not done. Her next target, establishing self-help organizations.
We have been able to lead and to start a group here, registered as ILLSC, but we are trying now to change it to be a 501c3 called Meru Diaspora Rising Witedia. Witedia is helping ourselves in Kemeru. So it's Meru Diaspora Rising Witedia, and we do the work of, it's a benevolence group where we support somebody when you lose a loved one. We give you a certain amount of money and then we replenish it. Out of that, it has given birth to another group we have a SACCO. We have registered a SACCO in Meru and is running now and called Meru Diaspora SACCO. And also because all this one gave birth when I was in deployment, 2020, 2021 is the time and that dream and I started. I also started another group of called Kenyans Association that is for the school where I was schooling, called Kenyans in Meru. And so we have that group also, and it's learning. It's registered now in Kenya. I'm the patron. They have the leadership there, but it is growing and meeting and doing good work.
Who would have thought that this trained P1 teacher with a degree in business administration and marketing from Daystar University would be able to reach such heights? Looking at her achievements, hers is truly an inspiring journey. A journey that is nowhere near slowing down, given that her church is just about to turn 10 years old. All this while balancing her military job. Yes, she's scheduled to go for tour in Iraq.
I tell you, only the sky is the limit when you really want to, and depending on who is beside you. I normally say that the people around you make you to be who you are. The stones as we step on, I count this world, I tell people in the world that the world that we live is a lever. It's closing a lever from one side to another. And when you are closing that lever, you have to have stones that you step on. Either you get a stone that is strong enough to empower you to step on the other stone, or it will lose you and you fall in the water.
This is the mantra that kept her going ever since landing here in the USA through a green card.
America is not, people say, is the land of honey, milk and honey. That milk and honey, unless if you know how to remove that honey from the cup, or you are able to get which cow to milk and good milk. You have to work very hard, you have to be focused, and you have to be diligent. We realize America has the most people who are homeless. Why? I've never seen people homeless in Kenya like America. Why? Because they make one mistake, and as I said, like a stone in the river, it will make them fall in the river. That's the end of it. But if you work diligently and be focused, don't cause any crime, because one crime will cause you down the hill. You will make it. And so here in America, honestly, to be honest, we work very hard.
Determination, selflessness, and compassion. This is what summarizes Reverend Dr. Mary Miriti's story, a story that the good minister is always willing to share. So, if you find yourself in Dallas, why not visit Oasis Global Mission Church in the campus of Ledgewood Park for some inspiration? And that's what Daring Abroad is all about.
What an inspiring story there, and congratulations to Reverend Dr. Mary Miriti. We now take a short break. When we return,
we're going to have libraries in here, we're going to have books, we're going to have artifacts that reflect where we come from and who we are.
What the Kalenjin community in Kansas City, USA is planning. Hey, hello there. Now, you remember recently I featured Gotabga. This is a Kalenjin community living in USA, and you heard that they have 12 chapters. call them branches across America. And I'm privileged to now visit the Kansas City chapter of Gotabga, and the community is known as
KCKC, Kalenjin Community in Kansas City.
Kalenjin Community in Kansas City, and they have a community center here. You can see they've begun a community center, and we'll be learning more about the purpose of this community center. But I'm here with the chairman, Dr. Josh Mutai, who will be telling us more about the objective of the organization and what this center will be all about. So we'll begin that interview in a moment. But mnasemaje?
KCKC,
Yes.
Chams Media.
Yeah, so let's begin by hearing about the objective of this community.
Make a circle, wherever you are, let's create space. Tunapeleka Alexa polepole.
Song and dance. Celebrations and merrymaking. This is how it went down as members of the Kalenjin community in Kansas City, known to most as KCKC, launched a cultural center to celebrate their Kenyan heritage. The center is a culmination of years of hard work by members of KCKC and a priority for the community here. Manoa Korir is a political scientist with over 30 years of experience living in the United States and the founding chairperson of the community center. According to him, the center has a bigger significance than what meets the eye.
This property is not just about the building. It's about their lives, it's about the spirit, it's about the energy and the children who are going to experience learning, sports, our African culture, the American way of life. We're going to have libraries in here, we're going to have books, we're going to have artifacts that reflect where we come from and who we are. And that is because we value what it means to become a Kenyan, what it means to become a Kalenjin. They say, asiyekuwa na mila ni mtumwa. So we are so far away from home, but here you can see we have a cultural center.
So the building sits on a 2.5, maybe a little bit more than that, acres. And the size of the building itself is 16,800 square foot. It's a pretty big building.
What are you going to use it for?
So we are going to use this as what we call our center of excellence. So it's our headquarters, the headquarters for the organization. We've envisioned most of those in our business plan. So we have a number of programs, cultural things, events that we have, like the Kodapka that have just happened. That would be one of them, or even our own local events. We can use the facility also for renting out to even people outside of our community, whether it's outside or in, weddings, graduations, anything, any sort of event. This is a very big building. At the bottom there, we're gonna have capacity for up to 1,000 seats.
Now, the biggest beneficiaries of this facility are the children and youth, especially those born here in the United States, like 21-year-old Ryan Chelugit.
I'm a student at Stanford University, and I was born here, Kansas City, Missouri. This is my home. I've been here how many years? 21 years now. It's really a big deal, the fact that we have such a community center like this. It's sort of the manifestation of many years of everyone being together, sort of, you know, gathering. We've been to many different people's houses, and eventually we settled upon this central place. And it's been really important how we're expanding the community, how we're getting people out here. As you've seen, we've had meetings like this. We were never able to do this before. Being born here, there aren't many others like us, I guess you could say. In Kansas City specifically, for example, I went to school with mostly African-American children, but no one like really of African or Kenyan descent. But this community here, having it, I'm able to make friends and lifelong connections as such. It's really like a family to me here, and it's meant so much for me to have a place to belong in America.
This is exactly the motivation behind the project by this Kalenjin community that happens to be one of the 12 chapters of the famous Gotapga International, an organization that is keen on uniting Kalenjins living in the United States. We have featured them before and their event on this very show.
What a legendary!
Our goal really is trying to figure out how to make it in this country. Let me say it this way, Cham. We've made it, we feel like we've made it in some way or shape or form. We've been here long enough, we are raising children. So having made it so far, our question is, what do we do for our next generation? Our goal as an organization is to try to set it up so that our next generation also makes it. There is a lot of generation that we're raising in this country. What we are afraid or what we don't want to lose is we don't want to lose sight of where we come from. We don't want them to not have the grit of what we've accomplished already. So I think our goal really as an organization is to, empower the next generation and also set them up so that they can go to the next level. That is the mission of our organization.
Currently, the local chapter has about 500 active members who have participated in numerous projects since the chapter came into existence.
We started this organization in 2002, just coming together as Kenyans, bringing our brotherhood back from Africa. That way we can continue to help each other the way we helped each other back home. We established different programs. One of the main programs of our organization is benevolence. So we came together and started something similar to Chama back in Kenya, where we put money together. When somebody has a need, we distribute that money and replenish the money back. So that is our key program. The next program that we wanted is as a community, we are scattered all over the city, but we needed a facility that brings us together so that we can have functions and events as a community. And thus the community center vision came together. As of now, we own it outright and we have the title. We envision many programs to come in the future from this facility. The other activities is athletics, also culture and heritage, maintaining our culture from back home. Our vision as at now is not complete, but as we continue to soldier on as a community, our vision will come together even to partner with other organizations within Kansas City so that they can provide grants for educational activities and many other functions within the city. Next to us is a community radio station that we hope to partner with in the future, and many other organizations around us. So this is a big day for us as a community. We continue to establish ourselves. The Bible tells us in Deuteronomy 6:10 that I shall give you houses that you haven't built. I shall give you cities that you did not build. I shall provide wells that you did not dig. And as diasporans that came to this country, just like the children of Israel, we are establishing our home here as our homeland.
It is efforts like this that keeps Kenyans domiciled in the United States connected to their motherland, actions that are appreciated by the Kalenjin community in Kansas.
I like to pride myself as being a Kalenjin because that is actually who I am, and more so the integral part of what has made me a member of this great organization. I'm a former teacher. I can't really say former teacher, but as a high school teacher in Kenya, I taught English and literature. But coming here, the culture has brought out the best in me. So being a Kalenjin has really brought out the best of what I know is an integral part of who I am. And having met fellow Kalenjins also here in Kansas City has really kind of bonded us together, therefore making us a community that is as strong as you've seen today. The best part about it is we have learned that Ubuntu culture, that you are because I am, and because you are, therefore I am. and that has brought us so much joy away from home.
It is the hope of the community that the Events and Cultural Center will usher in a newfound love and respect for their motherland Kenya and create a renewed sense of patriotism within the community. They further hope that the center will be a hub of innovation, unity and a stimulus for Kenyan-centered projects, and from the looks of things, they are already on their way there.
At the end of the day, I'm Kalenjin, and I take such pride in that. And I feel like the reason I'm able to is because my parents, my uncles, everyone is able to take, a bit of their home, their culture, and bring it here in America and make sure that we've been immersed in it, like literally since we were this little, So it's just been really, really awesome to have.
Chams Media in the house.
Commendable efforts there by the Kalenjin community in Kansas City, USA. Remember, they have the bigger umbrella body known as Gotabga International. And this year we've covered cultural events across the world. What a year. Remember, this year also Chams Media turned 10 as we celebrated 10 years of transforming lives. This episode closes the year, and we promise you a much more informative series in 2024. On behalf of Chams Media, many thanks for traveling, literally traveling with us across the world, and Happy New Year. Enjoy your holiday.